Whew. Lauren said we're live and just felt a little excited today. I'm Ian, that's Lauren. We are Bars and Bells. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. I'm always here. Anyway, today is our beginner bell exercise class where we'll start your strength strong, get nice and warmed up, and then add a kettlebell or your body weight for an additional load.
For tension, for strength. Lauren has a kettlebell, I have a kettlebell. As you might not have one. We could sell you one or visit your local store. But let's start with the breath and the mermaid's position here. And let's let Lauren describe those places for us.
Come on down to the floor. We'll sit on the floor in a merperson position, which kind of looks like Ariel from The Little Mermaid. We have that knee directly in front of the hip. Our shoulders and hips are facing square. That other leg is kind of pointed in on an angle. I have a pointed foot. Either pointed or flexed is fine. The other leg, the knee, is again directly outside the hip. And right now we're just square forward, sitting up tall. In our tall position, we have that light hand on the floor to keep ourselves upright. Use that, find some comfort, and then for a couple seconds, could you try to take those hands away and stay sitting up tall? And then, as needed, either place those hands or keep them off the floor. And let's rotate and just check out the other side. And then we'll come back to this adding on. So same thing in the other side. Shoulders and hips are square forward, tall, nice long spine, knee pointed forward, either flexed or pointed toes. Again, that hand out to the side. How does it feel on this side? Same, different, both answers are fine. And then remove those hands and just sit up tall for a couple seconds. 3, 2, well, either with or without hands, go back one more time and explore a little more in depth in this merperson position. So as we sit up tall here, I'm going to keep my hands lightly on the floor. Nice long spine. Let's start with a head rotation. So rotating the head neck, looking over a shoulder, back to center, and repeating on the other side. As we do this, I like to, one more time each side, think of my spine coming out the top of my head, and that's where I'm pivoting around. Last one, back to center. This time, let's gently tuck a chin to look down towards the floor, and then slowly keep that chin slightly tucked as you look up towards the ceiling. Be gentle, don't crank on your neck, and use your muscles to pull yourself back down. This is an active movement here. Chin to chest, and then chin slowly to the ceiling. Back to center. One more time, try to remove those hands. Sit up tall, breathe into it, and then let's switch sides and do one more set of head neck there. So rearrange again on this side. Tall, squared up. This time, we'll do a little ear to shoulder. So again, this time our nose is the pivot point. Ear towards shoulder, pull your head back on straight, and repeat on the other side. Ear towards shoulder, back on straight. One more time each side as we go here. Feel that lengthen, but feel that strength to pull yourself back. Last one, and center. And the last one we have here today will go into Tex neck, or that forward face reaching chicken neck. And then nose goes straight back, tuck your chin. Super attractive, especially on camera. Stacking the spine. One last time. Face forward. And then tuck your chin and stack, growing nice and tall. Take a second. Sit up. And we'll rotate to our
wrists. Warming up those wrists in a 6-point position or a crawling position. It's the fingertips that find the floor first, callus lines next, and then full hands extended on the wrist, screw them in. Pack the shoulders, meaning pull the blades towards the hips, and continue to pull energy into the floor, hands towards knees. By pulling those hands towards knees, you might be able to extend the wrist more, meaning the shoulders could go over the fingertips. Then press the floor forward, have the hips drive back, and let's tip the tailbone to the ceiling here, avoiding the rounding or the child's pose. Pull, hands to knees. Keep moving, keep building tension through those wrists and press through the fingertips to go back. Let's repeat one more time. pull, hands to knees, straighten those elbows, and then press forward and then extend those hips through, little wriggles in those wrists, quarter turn. It's the fingertips first, the callus lines next, and the full hand contacts the floor. The shoulders are low or out of the ears, and this time I'll press to my right, shifting my weight to the left. And then same thing, if I press left, my weight shifts the other way. Continue, push and pull, challenge the wrists in extension, build strength and endurance, and that tension into the floor. I'll return to center now, pushing equally through both wrists, my palms lift, then a little flick and shake. One more movement for the wrists. Switch to have the palms face forward, fingertips first again, callus lines next, and if this is rich in the sense of super sensational through the forearm flexors here, go against the wall or elevate the floor with the table. But now that we're here, extended on the wrists, the shoulders are pulled out of the ears, press the pinkies into the floor. Right and left sides for a couple seconds each, and then ease off and relax. Repeat that same effort on the ring fingers, and press the ring fingers through those fingertips into the floor. And relax. Move to the middles, middle finger tension, press, 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 ease off. Index fingers, same task. Can you press equally through both? Are you right-handed or left-handed dominant? Press through both and then relax. Don't forget those thumbs. Press out on those thumbs into the floor. And then last time, press all 10 digits. All 10 of those digits there. Then gently bend the elbows if allowed. And then flick, peeling the floor away, shaking out. From here, let's get into our lunge, as we will explore the lunges later in our get-up. We have a step forward. Hike a hip, pull a hip, hike a hip, pull a hip, tuck under, and tip back. Beware of those 4 unique positions. Find center, and then cramp your back butt cheek, meaning squeeze or extend the hip. Then press the front leg down. Pull. Do you feel that recruitment on the hamstring in the front? Perhaps we can pull safely and so much that our hips, shoulders, and head go forward as a team, knee towards over the toe. Then relax. Then perhaps recalibrate the hip tuck, get nice and centered, squeeze your back butt cheek, press forward through that front leg, scissoring those hips to our tall lunge. Watch your belly out to the side if you have one, and then heel toe out. Again, hip hike, hip level, hip scoop, and hips tip back. Find your safe level, pull together, so much that that knee may start to drift over the toe. Keep the hips forward, relax the effort, squeeze one last time, and as you push to the side, pull yourself up tall, like Lauren said, shoot energy out of the spine, out of the crown of the head to the ceiling. Then easy off, return the leg to the front, slide underneath, and switch on the other side. Hips can hike and come down. Perhaps one more hike and come down. We can scoop or posteriorly tilt and then tip to the back, or actually an anterior tilt. Find center, cramp up the back butt cheek, press through that front leg, and perhaps pull through this hamstring out front, pulling yourself forward. Rest for a second, recalibrate your squeeze, cramp back butt cheek, push forward through that front leg, and end up tall, just like Lauren, avoiding that hinge going back.
So tall.
And then coast. Heel toe out to the side, anywhere between 1, 2, or 3 o'clock facing laterally here. And again, level the hips. Hips forward, pull the heel towards the knee here on the ground, and then dorsiflex on the ankle, meaning knee towards over toe. Stay there for a second, and then relax. And then with those hips forward, glute cramped, push to the side to the tall position, growing up this imaginary wall here, and then relax the effort, heel toe to center. And from there, Lauren's going to down dog with us to get the hamstrings open to hinge.
Before we get into our down dog, let's get into our first plank position.
Okay.
So with those hands on the floor, we'll extend our legs reaching back behind us. Let's lift our hips higher than we think, so butts in the air. Then tuck under, connecting the ribs to the hips, and drop the hips slightly, either from the knees or the toes position, so that your head, shoulders, and butt are all in the same line. Hold. Pull the floor together underneath you. Breathe. Now gently tilt the tailbone to the ceiling. The hips will start to lift. You're pressing the floor forward and back, and you're ending up in that A-frame or down dog shape. Take a second here. Breathe. Trying to press those heels towards the floor. Now let's pull on the floor again, pulling ourselves into that plank. So we'll tuck slightly. Our hips are connected to our ribs. Our glutes are squeezed. Shoulders are pulled down. Create that tension. Couldn't move you if I tried. For 3, 2, one last time. Tailbone tilts to the ceiling. Hips lift. Heels slowly pressing towards the floor. From here, we'll add a soft bend in our knees. We'll walk our hands back to our feet, pushing ourselves through our hinge position, and then extend, pressing through to tall. And
we're up.
Shake it out.
Shaking it out.
That's me shaking it out.
Shaking it out and squatting from here. Open up your stance to your favorite squat. Feet could be turned out, hips doing much the same. Press into the floor, cramp the glutes, and extend the hips. That's that up or top phase of our squat. Pull the feet together. Feel that adduction, the tension between the groin lines here, and then continue to pull those feet together to descend in your squat. At your height, could be high, could be low, just pull, push some tension, and shift some weight. Maybe the leg could safely straighten out all the way, or just take time building that balance, the weight transfer, and the dorsiflexion, knees over toes. In center, push out and assemble tall. Pull ourselves down again. Control gravity as we descend. And now with a foot flat, could you take that knee and move it towards the midline with a foot flat, open towards the back. Same effort, other side. Flat foot, knee towards middle, then knee towards away, push down and away, that will stand back up. Heel toes together, hopefully polite burns through those legs here. And one more time through those planks, core tension. Nope. Moving
not really.
on.
We're going to do a get up each side.
My mistake.
Here. We're going to do a get up on one side, come back up, do some squats, get up on the other side. Let's pattern it right now with our arm across our chest. This would be the arm that goes overhead and holds a kettlebell, but not quite yet. Leg you can touch. Step back. Slow lunge down. As I'm descending, my back hip is pushing forward, my front hip is pulling in to have that scissor action. 3, 2, land. From here, just as we did earlier, open that foot to the side. Rotate head, rotate shoulders, then push your hip back, allowing yourself to hinge on the hip. Hand finds the floor. Once the hand has found the floor, stack your shoulders, shifting your weight over top. Taking that back leg, we're sweeping it through. Tall shoulder on that one that's connected to the floor. Then find your elbow. And again, for 5 seconds, we're descending to the floor. So you're pressing away from the elbow for 3, 2, control that landing. We'll reverse it on the same side. With that knee bent, we're pushing to the floor, extending the hip and pulling on our elbow. Find your hand, proud shoulder. Adjust as needed, and we're going to push into the floor, bridging, and then sweeping your long leg underneath. From here, hand presses the floor away. Head, shoulders square up to center. Side leg moves to center. Push down and forward, down and back. Create tension. Hop to tall. Remember which arm you just did.
Left. Okay. One more time on our sets of squats. Assemble in your squat stance. Pull to set up the preload and down to your safe standard. Now that we're down here, let's take a breath in and then a hop through those abs and time it so the helps us come up. We could breathe either at the top or as we descend. Breathe in, core tension, press to tall. One more time. Pull those heels together, control gravity as we descend, and then core brace, just like the plank tension as we end up to tall, standing. Shaking it out. One more time to Lauren for that get up.
I hope you
right
remembered.
Side across for me.
Other arm across your body. Leg you can touch. Drop back. Again, that slow down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and land. Front foot rotates open. Head, shoulders rotate. Hinge on that hip. Hip pushes back, hand finds floor, and then shift your weight to stack shoulder, shoulder, wrist. From here, back leg sweeps. Find the elbow. For 5 seconds, find the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, and down. Keeping this position, drive into the floor with the foot, extending the hip and pulling on the elbow. Finding your hand, keeping that shoulder packed. Lift to bridge, sweep that long leg underneath. Hand presses away, head, shoulders square up to center. Move that foot to end up in your lunge. Push forward and back, up to tall.
Nice. We have our kettlebells. This is a beginner's kettlebell and body weight workout. We've warmed up with that body weight, patterned some movements like the get up with our body weight, and here we'll integrate some of our heavy holds for time under tension with the kettlebell. There's no rules right now. Let's get down to the floor and we'll assemble in our firing range. I'll discuss the firing range and Lauren will complement that with some extra side planks.
Yeah.
Pistol squat down, right on. So I'll use my right hand here and I'll cuddle the kettlebell. My pinky is near a corner of the handle and my shoulder is packed already. From here, I'll roll to my back.
With 2 hands.
With 2 hands, press that kettlebell to this firing range position. Grip, pack. When you feel safe and strong, take that second hand away and place it where we had it for the get up. Is the shoulder blade retracted to your midline and pulling down to your hip? Making sure it's not elevating the shoulder or shrugging. Safely grip the bell. Crush it with that pinky. Straighten the elbow. Pack the shoulder. Go through that checklist for 5 more seconds, including the chin tuck. Then go 2 hands on the bell. Pull. Elbow to the hip. End up in the cuddle. Leave the bell there. Turn yourself around and repeat on the other side. Pinky near that corner, set up in that cuddle. With packed shoulders, take the breath, 2 hands on the bell to press, hi-yo, it's overhead. Then take the hand away if you're ready. Pack the shoulder. Is the forearm with the kettlebell vertical in relation to the floor? Pack the shoulder. I think I've said that. Tuck a chin, but go over the checklist with relentlessness. Grip, pack, visualize your get up, focus on this task and how we can progress it to heavier loads, more time, or into that get up. 2 hands on the kettlebell for now, pull it back down to the hip, end up in the cuddle, and while we're down here, a little side planking with Lauren.
Great. We'll do our side planks this time, and then we'll flip into a regular plank next time. For this side plank here.
Oh, sorry, I thought I read side plank there.
That's okay. We can do both.
Elbow plank.
Elbow.
My mistake.
That's okay.
This is good though.
I wrote the class today. With our elbow gently underneath our shoulder, so it's already stacked, I like to have a fist or a flat hand on the floor. Check out your lower body. Are your knees in line with your hips? If not, scooch them back a little bit and press your hips forward, creating a nice straight line from your shoulders, your hips, your knees. Now take your top hand, place it on your obliques. You have them whether you believe it or not. That's down here. Without lifting your hip, pull the ribs away from the floor and feel that tension in those side abs there. Feel that pull away from the floor and then gently relax. Let's start there again. Pull those side abs away from the floor. Then keep lifting as allowed so that your hips start to lift up off the floor towards the ceiling. Right now, push those hips even more forward. Feel that tension build as you're lifting that side body away from the floor. You might even hear me shake. Those hips are staying stacked on top of one another. Heads in line with body, nice long spine. For 3 more seconds, we have that sky hook pulling our hips away from the floor. 3, 2, soft landing, support that shoulder, and then gently relax. Whew. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So from that side elbow there, elbows right underneath the shoulder to start. Packed or pushing away from the floor right away. Look down where the hips slightly press forward and knees stacked. From here, take that top hand, feel those obliques on this side. Slumpy towards the floor, and then lifting away. Hips are still down right now, but pushing forward. And then relax. Let's do that again. Feel that pull away from the floor, and this time keep lifting as allowed to lift those hips up and away. Something is pulling you up towards the sky as you do that. Feel those bottom side obliques lifting and bracing and holding. And this whole time as well, you're breathing. A very important thing to do. Keep those hips pushing forward. Hold for 3, 2, and then easy off. And firing range.
Thanks for letting me read between the lines or make up my own story here, but that felt really good. I hope that felt strong for your rib cage too.
So good.
One more time, while we're on the floor, it's that firing range position. We cuddle it with 2 hands, roll to your back, and hiya, press. Hold it there with 2 hands and just build the strength and endurance and awareness. Or challenge yourself by removing that second hand, maintain the shoulder blade pack, and focus on the bell. Focusing on the bell includes crushing the grip, straightening the elbow, packing the shoulder, breathing, chin tucking, because that's core strength too, holding it for 5 more seconds, practice these time under tension techniques, then 2 hands on the kettlebell, pull it to the hip, turn it to the cuddle. Let go, switch around, and one more time here on the floor in the kettlebell cuddle. To firing range. Grip it with a slightly flexed wrist, making sure the kettlebell load isn't taking your wrist into extension. We crush it, pack a shoulder, roll to the back, 2 hands to press. Take away that second hand, packing the shoulder. Visualize this step, focusing on the kettlebell, or thinking again how we could take this towards our getup in the future. Grip it, straighten the elbow, pack the shoulder, core brace. Maintain your breath, chin tuck, and again 5 more seconds. Finish with integrity, 2 hands on the bell, pull it to the ground, and then back to the cuddle. And back to Lauren for one more core down here.
One more plank. This time we're going to work from our elbows for a plank. So what that means is we'll flip onto our stomach. Our our hands are out in front of us in fists, our shoulders pulled down. Right now, my elbows are directly underneath my shoulders. I'm going to tuck my hips under and press away from the floor, whether it's from your knees in this position or from your toes. If you're no matter where you are, our hips are tucked under, connecting ribs to hips. Our glutes are squeezed. Now pull your elbows on the floor. Pull them towards your knees for 4, 3, 2, knees come down, soft landing. Let's move our hands into our push-up position. Retract those shoulders, tuck under just as you did in your plank, and press the floor away. Tailbone tilts long to the ceiling. Walk those hands towards the feet, coming back in your hinge position, so vertical shins. Load up the hamstring glutes, and then press to tall.
To tall.
Whew.
Now that we're tall, we can travel, or at least before we travel, we have to pack and pick up that suitcase. So using our kettlebells here to the side, practicing time under tension techniques, grip strength, core strength, body awareness. Let's pick up that kettlebell and go for a little walk. We'll stand right over top of the bell. We'll be picking it up with 1 hand today. If this is brand new for you, do it with 2. Hinge, hips go back. Single hand on the bell, square up those shoulders, and feel how heavy that kettlebell is before we lift it. That's the preload. Once you've preloaded, lift it to tall, and then out to the side. Whether it's marching on the spot or taking a little lap around your room, feel tension and stability as you work in a moving capacity here, or just stay standing on 2 feet. Build your endurance, couple more repetitions on this side, and then open up your stance. Return to the floor, square the shoulders, extend, and shake. Same effort on the other side. It's the hip hinge. Single hand, shoulders square, preload, to tall. Adjust your stance. march on the spot. Drive one leg down as you pull the other leg up, or go for a little walk around the room. Maintain your breathing, maintain that core brace. Nice and control for a couple more steps.
Maintain that tension on the opposing side to keep yourself up tall here.
Return to the floor, barehanded up with a little shake and wiggle. From here, Lauren,
We're going to set up our kettlebell swing. We're just going to talk about the setup right now. So with your bell in front of you, place your big toe tips touching the body of the bell. From there, we're going to pivot on our heel 90 degrees and then pivot on that toe. Same thing on the other side, 90-degree pivot, 90-degree pivot. Now let's just rock back and forth and find a comfortable position. From here, taking your hands, chop your hips back, pushing them straight behind you. Your shins should still be vertical, your toes heavy gripping the floor, and your spine nice and long. Now place your hands on the bell, gripping it and tipping it onto its belly. Stay here. Drag the bell 1 millimeter towards you to pack your shoulders. Feel that load through your hamstrings and glutes. As well, feel that core brace. Then place the bell back on its bum, let go, and press to tall. I don't know if that's called a bell bum, but sounded
bellies
good.
and bums on the
Bellies
bells.
and bums. 2 more, same routine. Hip hinge. Shins stay vertical, hips go straight back, nice long spine. Hand grips bell, hands, grip bell, tip to belly. Pack. Drag it 1 millimeter to engage those lats. Feel the core brace. Let it go. Up without. One last time. Hip hinge. Grip bell. Tip. Pack shoulders. The next time we'll be pulling to that hike pass position or the zipper of our pants. Let the bell go. Stand up without. Whew.
Little shakes there.
Whew.
Let's return to our kettlebell and this time take it into our rack position. Standing over the bell, I'll be gripping it with my right hand. Check. Then that left hand helps secure. Nice pistol grip there. Feel the preload. Zip up the bell to that rack's position. Same thing. Stay unstable. Nice and stationary. Or march on the spot. Drive one leg down as you flex the hip or pull away on the other side. Core, brace. Lauren alluded to that other side. Use the core to stay tall, stable, and then open your stance. 2 hands, return to the floor, and up. Catch your breath. Repeat on the other side. Hip hinge. My left hand goes on. My right hand helps secure. Lightly pull the bell. Feel the preload. And zip to the rack. Avoid the hip, like I'm showing here, that juts out to the side, and instead be strong in the center. We can modify stances, following Lauren into the march. This, by my elevated breath and hard words here, is my challenging side. You might have one. Work both, then 2 hands on, turn to the floor, and up barehanded. We'll be repeating that exercise 1 more time today. Shake, wiggle, address your load, lighter or heavier. Let's build some time under tension. Hip hinge.
Wait, you're doing it right now again?
Yep.
Okay.
Single hand on.
We only did 1 suitcase.
Pack the shoulders. Zip up the body. And here we are. Stance could change, marching on the spot, or even a side-to-side walk. Take your time. Build tension and strength in this rack's position to progress towards the overhead press. Let's go 2 hands on for now. Turn to the floor and up. Final time on the other side. It's the left hand for me, then the right hand to help secure. Preload, zip with that powerful hip extension and hold in the rack. Adjust your stance, balance, press, pull. Add time, add tension. And if this was, again, our own practice off camera, we might hold this in the pursuit of doing it for a minute. Open your stance again, 2 hands on the bell. Return to the floor, up barehanded. And that felt heavier than usually. Whew.
All right, I'm going to talk about our hike pass, and Ian's going to demonstrate it here.
Okay.
So if you want to go with Ian because you know what you're doing, go with Ian. If you'd rather watch and then go with me, let's do that. Setting up the same way you did last time. Toes to bell, pivot on foot, pivot. Pivot on foot, pivot. Rocking back and forth. We're going to use the same setup we did last time. Hips hinge back, nice long spine, braced core, load on hamstrings and glute. Tip the bell onto its side. Now, engaging those lats, we're going to pull the bell to the zipper of our pants or the groin, pull, and then park. Repeat, pull, and park. Each time we're doing this, notice that Ian is not getting any taller. So he's staying nice and low, wearing that load on the hips, hams, and glutes. Now it's our turn.
That was 5, and that was enough for us. Now, if you were following me, let's watch Lauren as we can cue and finesse this hike pass. Lauren set up with the heel toes, got her stance the way she likes, hinging on the hips, hands on the bell, pulling the zipper and parking out front. Pulling the zipper and parking. The intermittent nature of this movement makes it very challenging, that stop and start. So great for the power, the aerobic, hi-ya, and also the core. One more time?
Sure, one more time. Back to that hike pass, so same setup as last time. Use your hinge, feel that preload on the core, drag the bell to millimeter, and then pull it. Pull. We're engaging these side rib muscles to pull the bell to the hike position, trying to stay the same height the whole time and not tipping forward or backwards.
Not tipping forward or backwards starts with the feet. Root the feet into the ground as you pull to the zipper. It's those powerful lat muscles that are pulling that load onto the hips. Then once it's there, we'd extend it through to progress our swing. Shake it out. How do you feel about going overhead today? Does this load feel like it's going to be a good load to go overhead? I'm kind of asking myself the same thing. I'm going to try it. Let's do it in our overhead position, hanging out, time under tension.
Are we going to do it twice or just once each side?
Once each side.
Okay.
Once each side. So we'll set up our hinge, hike pass to the rack, and core press to tall. 2 hands, hike pass, rack, to tall, and hold. We can march on the spot again, or this is a new position for you. Stay stable. Find your preferred place for those feet. Squeeze your butt. We're practicing Lauren's plank from before, and in a couple seconds, pull down with control.
Vertical forearm.
To the rack, 2 hands on, and down to the floor. Little shake, little rest, but not too much. We'll do that one more time here.
Other side.
Other side, cheek clean to that rack position. Zip up the coat and press. There we go, to tall. Keep the hips underneath those shoulders and that elbow straight, armpit packed. Lauren's progressing into the stationary march. Go around your room. Stay in one spot, build that time under tension, and with our vertical forearm, to the rack, and then to the floor. A little harder on that side, but that's okay. Practice both.
Nice. We're going to now perform our stop swings. Ian will go 5, I'll go 5, 2 rounds. Setting up, just as you would in your hike pass or every drill we've done previous to this behind your bell. You're going to use your hinge, hands on bell, pack shoulders, pull to zipper, drive through to a plank position, through and park. Repeating up to 5 times. Those hips are what's driving the bell forward. The core stays braced. Wear that load on the hips and hammies. Noticing each time that Ian drives those hips back to the same place. Once done, park the bell, stand up without, shake, join me.
Join Lauren. I go, you go, follow one of us, listen to one of us, and perfect your swing, followed by the park. Hike pass, big power. We can hear Lauren's breath, timed that when that bell is about to explode off those hips, it's that forced exhale, like what we practiced in our squat when we warmed up. Think that's 5? Whew, heart rate recovery today.
When we're swinging our kettlebell, we're aiming for that top position to be in line with the chest. At that most top position, our shoulders are retracted or pulled together. Our chin is slightly tucked opposite to our chicken neck in our warm-up. We have our feet rooted into the floor and the hips fully extended and the core braced, just like we practiced in our plank. Take some time off, breathe in between.
One more set for Team Lauren. Pack the bell, secure the grip with the hands, but then the elbows stay straight, the shoulder blades pack, just like the firing range position, and we practice power in our swing. Last one. And park. Excellent.
Nice.
There we go. Do you have a favorite kettlebell hold? Do you have a favorite kettlebell hold? If we do one more.
I have a least favorite.
Oh, what's that one?
My suitcase carry I find so hard.
Well, let's do that one again.
Shouldn't have told you that.
Somehow that went from favorite to least favorite.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
sorry.
know how that happened. We'll stand over top of our bell for this suitcase carry. Using our hip hinge as we have this whole class, push them back. Grip with one hand, make sure both shoulders are square to the floor. Pack, preload, and up. Putting that bell to one side. Whether you're stationary or moving around the room, that shoulder is retracted and engaged, as well as the lat. We're gripping that bell with a nice strong grip. If I was lazy, it would be pulling me over here, but I'm not, so I'm staying up tall. My weight is even in both feet, pushing down in a way to extend and squeeze my glutes. I'm breathing behind that shield, holding for 3, 2, bring it to center, square up those shoulders as you place it down, and stand up without. The sweat started. Same thing on the other side. Using that hinge, squaring up shoulders, packing, preload, move to the side. Where is your shoulder? Is that bell pulling your shoulder down? Retract. Opposite side, work it. Work it, work it. Push those feet into the floor, extending the hips. Brace, but keep breathing underneath. For 5 more seconds, we're walking through the airport. Well, we all have wheelie bags now, but we're keeping up tall for 3, 2, step, stay square, and hop, paw.
Before we take that trip onto the rest of your day, there's one more exercise for us here. 5 repetitions of continuous swings with the kettlebell. Either revisit the hike pass or the stop swing. But here, Lauren and I go, and the I go, you go, for 5 reps of our swings.
You'll set up the same way we did all today, using our hinge, tip and pack. It's one full swing, but it continues into the next one. No putting that bell down, keeping that tension at the top, the shoulders retracted, and parking with control.
I go, you go, or maybe it was we go, and then you go.
Didn't get my hint here.
Let's do one more time, 5 repetitions of a swing, and practice like you could do more. I hope I could do more, but thank goodness today, this will be our last set of 5 repetitions. Hinge, grip, tip, pack, pull, 5, 4, park it, extend, shake, catch your breath.
On that note, one last thing.
Okay.
Standing tall, mouth's closed, nose is open. Take a breath in and out. Place a hand on the belly and a hand on the chest. Breathe into that belly this time. Expanding and opposite of expanding, contracting. Expand the belly and then exhale. This time, take a breath into the chest, expanding the rib cage 360 and exhale. Repeat again, rib cage and exhale. One more routine into the belly for 4 seconds. Hold that breath for 4. Into the rib cage for 4. Hold full for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold empty for 4. And relax.
Those empty holds, challenging, and that slow cadence to resume control of your breath. Thank you for following along here today, live at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, and anytime after in the archive. This has been Beginner Kettlebell and Bodyweight Skills for strength, for fitness, for wellness, and for fun. Good.
My name's
We're on the
Lauren.
same page, and my name's Ian.
And we're Bars and Bells. Until next time, take care, stay strong, and we'll see you soon.
Oh, not one more wave. Right on.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Whoops. I opened my calendar.